Colby, 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 math.com.
Okay, we're working on simplifying expressions, applying order of operations, which we reviewed today. There's a way to keep track of that. It's called PEMDAS. P-E-M-D-A-S. You first simplify any expressions that are inside parentheses. That's step one. And then you simplify any exponential expressions. That's step two. Multiplication and division are step three. They occur at the same time, so you don't necessarily multiply before you divide. You just look as if you're reading a sentence from left to right. And when you're on step three, you do any multiplication or division that you see first. Dividing is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. They're inverse operations, so really dividing is just another form of multiplying. And in the same way, addition and subtraction are in the same step because they're also inverse operations. We learned that subtracting is the same as adding the opposite. And so if subtracting is the same as adding, they should be on the same step, shouldn't they? And so when you're on step four, it's whichever one you see first as you move left to right. And we'll see an example of that after the pause. I want to start with the one that says start here. I have parentheses. So there's a whole expression inside the parentheses that we must first simplify in order to know what the base is for this exponent. Whatever this simplifies to, that number will be what we're going to square. First we need to know what that number is. And inside this expression I see subtraction and division. So I'm going to be on step 3 before step 4. I'm going to do this division first. The quotient of 4 and 2 is 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So you just simplify that and then you rewrite the rest. I haven't done anything with the 16. So it's 16 minus 2, and that difference will be squared. And then we're going to triple that value. We're still inside the parentheses. 16 minus 2 is 14. As soon as you get down to a single value in your parentheses, you can get rid of the parentheses because the parentheses have served their purpose. I know what number now that I'm squaring. I'm squaring 14. When we're done with parentheses, we're on to step 2 because I do have an exponent. I need to know what 14 squared is. I have that memorized, but if you don't, well, first you need to understand that 14 squared means 14 multiplied by 14. Common mistake students make is thinking this means 14 times 2. If it was 14 times 2, there'd be no need for this special subscript notation. We would just say 14 times 2. It means the base number is being multiplied by itself twice. So it's 14 times 14. If you do it on the side, you'll get 4 4s is 16, carry the 1. 1 4 is 4, and 1 is 5. And then now we're multiplying by the tens place, so I put a 0 placeholder in the units place. 4 1s is 4, and 1 times 1 is 1. And that sum is 196, so 14 squared is 196. So I can substitute in my expression 14 squared is 196, and then we're going to triple 196. I'll do it the traditional way, but first I'll tell you how I would do this. I would just do it 200 tripled because 196 is really close to 200. 200 times 3 is just 600. And then I would compensate by subtracting 12 because 196 is 4 less than 200. So I tripled 4 more than I should have. So I take away that 4 times 3 or 12 from the 600, giving me 588. If you use the more traditional way of doing that, and you just did 196 times 3, you would get 18, carry the 1, 9 3s is 27, plus 1 is 28, carry the 2, 1 3 is 3, plus 2 is 5, so you get 588 either way. The way the puzzle works is you look at the paths leading away from that box, and you've got 3 choices. One of them should match your simplified expression, and if it doesn't, go back and check your work. But in this case, it does match 588, and we would start working on this expression. Now, the directions the directions may not tell you this, but I'm going to tell you this now because I know you're watching the video. If you if you do all of these correctly, you will have passed through every single box before you get to that end box. And so if you do not pass through every single box, go back and do the ones that you skipped over in order to get full credit on this assignment. I'm not going to ask you to do this one during the pause. I'm going to ask you to skip over to this one for a specific reason. So if you don't mind, do that one during the pause and then come back and see how you did.
Paused.
The reason I wanted to do this one is this one presents an opportunity to make sure it's clear about these operations that are combined in steps, because I have no parentheses, I have no exponents, there's no multiplication or division, there's just subtraction and addition. But a common mistake students make will be to add the 3 and the 4 first because they see the A before the S. That's not what you should do. This expression does not say 11 minus this sum. If it were 11 minus this sum would have to be in parentheses. If you subtract the sum from 11, you're taking too much away from the 11. The expression says 11 minus 3. You take 3 away from the 11, and then you add 4 to that difference. You have to read from left to right, and when you're on this step, addition and subtraction, whichever one you see first, in this case subtraction, 11 minus 3 is 8. And then you rewrite the rest of the expression. 8 plus 4 is 12. And you rewrite the rest of the expression, and 12 minus 7 is 5. And so you would follow this path. The same holds for multiplication and division. If you're on step 3 and you have a choice between multiplying and dividing, it's whichever one you see first. It would be the one you would do. Okay, thank you for watching the video. I'll see you in the morning.